You know, in this world, there are good corporate employees and there are bad corporate employees. Like everything, there's good managers and bad managers. But what on earth makes a guy give up his corporate job, his expense account, his paid vacation, his job security to go out on his own? And above all, to go out on his own to be a used car salesman? This is why I quit the corporate culture, and I'm going to tell you all about it. So, the corporate culture, right? It is a secure and safe environment, much safer than going out on your own. Not really. You're subject to layoff. I was actually laid off 2 times. Once, I kind of had it coming. You might even actually say I was fired. The other time was a misfortune, restructuring of a company. They were a great company. They even circled back about 6 months later and offered me a different position, which maybe I should have taken. But the reality is, corporate jobs are not really secure. And the thing that I think bothered me the most about it was you're not ultimately responsible for your successes and your failures. Yeah, you can have a very successful career, particularly salespeople that work for others, and you get a good commission and you earn a great living. Absolutely. Being a salesperson is probably as close as you can get to working for yourself while still having a corporate job. But for me, there were several things about the corporate culture that just started wearing me out. And one day that switch flipped and I decided it was time to stand out on my own and see if I could make my living buying and selling used cars. There were lots of reasons why I ultimately decided to leave. My most recent job that I had, it just wasn't a good fit for me. They were good people. I have no complaints about the job. It just wasn't my thing. I didn't have any passion for it. My boss was a good guy. He didn't ride my ass. I did what I needed to do. The problem is I could do what I needed to do in about 20 minutes. And then after that, I just didn't have motivation. I didn't believe in the product enough to go out and really push to sell it. I also know that in sales, a lot of the methods that we were using were just super, super slow methods. That was one thing. I got up one day, I believe it was a Monday. I know it was the Monday before Thanksgiving. I called my boss and I said, "Hey dude, you're not going to believe this, but I've decided to open a used car lot. I'll give you all the notice you need." They were out of town. And I'm going to move on. Let me know. As it turned out, the boss's boss was pretty upset and said just to mail my shit back to their corporate office and have a nice day. So that's what I did. I quit my job on Monday of Thanksgiving week, and it took me until February 17th, I believe, to get my car lot opened. So that was that. That was maybe the main reason that I left. Now, I've done a lot of jobs. I grew up in the restaurant business. I had some great bosses. I had a boss that I followed to the restaurant business, and then to another company, and then to another company. And he was really a great mentor to me, and I love the guy, and I appreciate the guy, and it was great. I've had a couple other great bosses that really opened my eyes to different things, to different methods of leadership, to promoting other employees and helping them get their career goals accomplished. And I had probably my greatest boss ever with a company that was from out of town. They were actually based in Minnesota. Great guy. We got along great. We are friends to this day. He's back living in Minnesota. We see each other about once a year, once every 18 months. We're on the phone every month. Was a great mentor, really helped me develop my skill set, and has obviously since then just been a really great friend. So I've had great bosses. I've also had some shitty bosses. I think one of the telltale signs of it's time to move on is when you start thinking you're smarter than your boss. And probably in some cases you are. So for me, I'm smarter than my boss mixed in with my passion for buying and selling cars. Told me that it was probably time to step out on my own and make a go of it, which we did. When you hear my last reason for why I left, you will laugh at me if you work for yourself. If you don't work for yourself, you might not laugh. There's things that you know, and there's things that you don't know and understand until you experience. But maybe the strongest reason that I left my corporate job was laziness. I was tired of people telling me when I had to get up and go to work, when I could be off, when I could take off on vacation. The reality is that business happens in this much of a day. It doesn't take this much of the day. This is before the coronavirus came through and enabled the work from home mentality. So you had to be there, or you had to be out making calls. That just didn't work. But anyway, I was kind of tired of that. I was kind of lazy. Now, why you're going to laugh about this is, as you know, if you've opened your own business, you work your ass off. I'm up earlier than I was at my corporate job. I work later than I do at my corporate job. On the nights and weekends that I'm home, I might be looking for cars to buy or sell, catching up on paperwork, posting ads to buy or sell more cars, all sorts of things. It's a different kind of stress too. Before, I'd piss off a customer. My stress was, well, is the boss going to bitch at me about it? And I might even actually be bothered by it, if you can believe that. Back then, that was something that would bother me. This stress is completely different. Now, obviously, doesn't matter if a customer gets pissed off. I'm the boss. What's going to happen? So in that regard, it doesn't bother me. But what does bother me is I'm still up late at night worrying. Am I going to pay all the bills? Am I going to pay the bills on time? What about my employees? I'm now responsible for other people's livelihood. God forbid it's a slow week and the money gets tight. I have to make sure that the employees are taken care of before I take care of myself. And to this day, 5 years later, and this is where I could have done better, I have yet to replace the income that I had at my best paying job. Now, I have a lot more freedom. I can go late, I can come in early, I can go home early, I can leave in the middle of the day and go to the gun range with my buddies. I can take off when I have a buddy come in town and nobody's going to tell me no. So those things are great. But then also, if I don't work or if I have employees on vacation, we may not make as much income, and that kind of sucks. So everything is a trade-off when you work for yourself, and the type of business that you have is definitely going to indicate whether or not you're going to have a lot of stress, a little stress, and how much work you're going to make. If I had it do all over again, I'd have probably started at Only Fat Guys or something like that, where I could just video myself all day long and make money. But instead, I have to be at the car lot and I have to sell cars. Now, I made a few more notes just to kind of share some of the experiences I had. The first year that I opened the lot, this includes build out costs. This includes going to the auction and getting my ass handed to me by other people. I lost $69,000 on my first tax return. That included the build out. That included pulling money as a salary when we really weren't making any money. That included buying bad cars. When I first started my business, I was only really buying Volvo, Mercedes, and BMW because I wanted to sell used luxury cars to that market. I didn't have a finance license. All my deals were cash. And as much as people had told me, I didn't really realize this. I'd have a couple of people mentor me in the car business. One of them said, only buy dealer trade-ins. Because obviously you know why a car dealership, like a brand new Chevy dealer, a brand new Ford dealer, they're not going to put a 10-year-old car on their lot. So you know why they took it to the auction. But if you're buying cars from other independent dealers, what that really means is they got that car needed more work than they wanted to do, and they took it back to the auction to dump it. I fell victim for that time and time again before I remembered and understood what this mentor had been telling me. So now we pretty much only buy new dealer trade-ins and repos. Repos are good. The bank is not going to hold on to them. They're going to take whatever offer they can get. However, the guy that used to own that car before it got repoed, if he couldn't make his payment, little to no chance that he did any kind of maintenance or repairs. So those cost you some money. But that is still a much better deal than buying cars from other dealers at the auction. Hey, you're still watching my video. That's awesome. I really appreciate it. If you don't mind, take just a second, hit that like and subscribe for me. If you want notifications of when I put out more videos, there's a little bell sign you can hit. It'll send you a little message. Thanks for watching, guys. Let's get back to your video. So not long into it, buying cars at the auction, I was having some success. A buddy of mine said, dude, quit buying these expensive cars. You need to buy the cars the everyman can afford. Not everybody wants a BMW or a Mercedes, or they're afraid of maintenance costs and things like that. You need to sell cheaper stuff like Ford Explorers, Chevy Trailblazers, Chevy Cobalts, Impalas, Ford Focuses. So I did. I switched. I started selling those cheaper cars and they started moving. And then another buddy said, dude, you really need to start financing. This is where it's at. This fella had a good relationship with a car dealer, and he was a buyer's agent for that dealer. So he had some knowledge, even though he did not yet have his dealer license. He kept telling me, you have to get the finance license. So I did. I got my finance license and I started financing some cars. And you know what? Some cars started moving and we started making some money. Back then, cars that you wanted to sell, in many cases, I could get the car and get it fixed and still get it almost all my money out on my down payment. So it was a great way to go. Let me just reassure you that COVID has ruined all of that. I don't finance a lot of cars right now because it's so hard for me to find inexpensive cars that I can fix, put out a halfway decent product, and then put up to finance. So for now, I'm selling cash cars. And one of the things that I've learned is you have to go with the flow. When the economy's good or the economy's bad, or when there's plenty of cheap cars or when there's no cheap cars. So the types of cars that I sell, there's an ebb and a flow to it. The number of cars that I have available, there's an ebb and a flow to it. It is what it is. I've just learned that you have to be a little bit fluid when you're working for yourself. What do I miss most about my corporate job? Honestly, it was the expense account. Well, I had to travel extensively, and that could be kind of old and boring and lonesome. I had an expense account and a generous boss. So I ate at the best restaurants, entertained customers at football games, basketball games, baseball games, all kinds of neat things like that. Traveled a lot, got plenty of frequent flyer miles, hotel points, and that aspect of it, it was great. So I would have to say the expense account was my biggest loss. Do I ever want to go back to the corporate culture? Back to having to wear a suit and tie? Back to having to be somewhere at a certain time? No. This entrepreneurial thing has been a headache. It's been a kick in the balls. It's caused a lot of stress. My hair has fallen out. I've gained weight. I'm on high blood pressure meds. It's caused bumps in the road. It's caused almost divorces. It's been a struggle. There are things that have come up that I never ever would have anticipated. All that to say, would you do it again? Yeah, I sure would. And if you have an opportunity to become a self-employed entrepreneur, you have a business idea that you think is going to work, you should take your shot. Here's the thing. Whether this goes down as a big win or a big lose, or it took me 5 years to get my footing and figure out what I'm doing, yeah, there's been bumps to the credit. There's been a lot of money lost. Those are definitely facts. If I didn't take the shot, if I didn't try it out and I never knew, it would eat me till the day that I died. The unfortunate reality of being an entrepreneur is there are a lot of ideas that you're going to try that are just not going to work. There are a lot of hits and misses. There's a lot of frustration. And just like every society's stars that we look up to online or on TV, oh, they were an overnight success. Oh, they did this. Oh, they did that. There was a lot of failures there too. And folks, we don't talk about the failures. I'll tell you the failures. Mine are minor compared to so many people. I haven't gone bankrupt because of trying this. I just haven't achieved exactly what I wanted. Do I think I'm going to? Do I think I'm going to hit the home run? Yeah, I do. I'll get there. I'm no longer trying to be a billionaire by the time I retire. Really, what am I after now? I want a good quality of life. I want to take care of my family and friends and enjoy those relationships. Because if I died tomorrow, how hard I worked at a corporate job or whether my business succeeded or failed isn't going to be what's important. It's the relationships that I have that matter the most. And I want to be able to enjoy those to the maximum. So if you're thinking of being an entrepreneur, my advice is go for it. Do your research, find you some mentors, get out there and give it a try. Maybe it's a dollar amount. After I lose X number of dollars, I'm going to quit and go back to the corporate culture. After I lose X number of dollars, I'm going to pivot and try this or that. Whatever it is, figure it out and give it a try. Don't wonder your whole life if you could be an entrepreneur. Go on out and try it. Thanks for watching, guys. Give me a like and subscribe. You can look for more behind the scenes video of my car lot and the activities and goings-ons of that on a regular basis. Appreciate y'all tuning in and supporting me, and y'all have a great day.